You know exactly. It's on the blockchain. As they say in the space, hashtag players gonna play, haters gonna hate, we guess. But first, smash the like button wherever you are and share this content with your crew and beyond, please. Today on the Jackson 5 Crypto Index on the ADMP website, here we go again. Satoshis, Bitcoin maximalists, blockchainers, Lambo kids, crypto poser, cyber hornets, Cardano bros and sis, F movies, stable Thefera, Monero stealth fighter, polka dotters, Afro techies, crypto traders, crypto pan-Africanists, cross-chainers, Salvadorian Libre, cryptocasters, Litecoiners, Solanists, open sources, DeFi crusaders, coders, cryptopreneurs around the globe, rejoice. We started from the bottom, now we're here. The Bitcoin unguardable juggernaut once again hit an all-time historical high of $61,235. Up from $31,697 as per the last podcast. Bitcoin is forever as unguardable as James Harden, and therefore undefeated as the internet still is. Whoop, whoop. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. Satoshi's Corner, Season 2, Episode 1.
My name is Untitled.
Because cryptocurrency was designed by Satoshi.
My name is Untitled, social media, blockchain, and big data consultant.
The political motive is to bring the power back to the people who use currency as a means of payment.
This podcast is a bite-sized summary of a potential conversation.
To communicate to each other, and there's no doubt in my mind.
Physical assets will also be recorded in the blockchain's tokens as well, so...
Of a potential conversation with Satoshi Nakamoto, seminal white paper, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The goal of this podcast is to establish the many sources and resources.
The tokenization of culture is exactly right. It's the only thing I've been thinking about the whole time, and it's going to be a big fucking deal.
The goal of this podcast is to establish the many sources and resources necessary to create, deploy, and optimize blockchain technology ecosystem in order to establish a Bitcoin or blockchain standard for businesses and organizations in the 21st century.
Today's podcast, Satoshi's Corner Season 2, Episode 1, will be definitely lit. The CryptoCast will have 4 parts. Don't forget to listen to it twice if you want to get all the knowledge juice out of this CryptoCast. It will see us delving down the rabbit hole of incentives. This is the part where we read aloud the Satoshi white paper as per the protocol, of course, to get a better understanding of the concept and technology used to build and deploy it. In part 2, we'll have the SEARCHCAST. It will provide the result of the internet's consciousness of the moment on the same concept read in the white paper. Or if you want the response from search engines like Google, Naver, Lime, Yandex, Baidu, WeChat, Facebook, YouTube, etc., or even answer engine like Siri, Alexa, etc. What do they say about the stuff that we've been reading on the white paper, okay? Part 3, we have the reaction cast, where we respond and react to a podcast, a rant, a webinar, a Zoom call with outrageous hot tech for the space. This week, Raul Pal and his guest, Gary V, on his YouTube channel, Real Vision. They will talk about NFTs or non-fungible tokens, or also called social tokens or community token or arts token, token arts, sport token, of course. Why not after all? Let's listen to what they have to say and we'll react to it, alright? Part 4, the CyberSecCast, a new addition that will from time to time delve into the murky world of crypto cybersecurity, exploits, data breaches, crypto heists, etc., etc. And a part of it is heavily influenced by CASA, the PAPEI or CRYPTO-HEIST. Now on to the Satoshi white paper as per the protocol. We've already seen the intro or forwards, of course, if you remember.
A pure version of electronic cash would allow online payment to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a single financial institution. You know the rest. In part 2, we had transaction. In part 3, we had timestamp server. In part 4, we had proof of work. In part 5, we had network. And now, in part 6, we're going to have a look at incentive. By convention, the first transaction in a block is a special transaction that starts a new coin owned by the creator of the block. This adds in incentives for nodes to support the network and provides a way to initially distribute coins into circulation. Since there is no central authority to issue them, there is no need. The steady addition of a constant amount of new coin is analogous to gold miners expending resources to add gold to circulation. In our case, it is CPU time and electricity that is expended. The incentive can also be funded with transaction fees. If the output value of a transaction is less than its input value, the difference is a transaction fee that is added to the incentive value of the block containing the transaction. Get it? I'll do it again. If the output value of a transaction is less than its input value, the difference is a transaction fee that is added to the incentive value of the block containing the transaction. Once a predetermined number of coins have entered circulation, the incentive can transition entirely into transaction fees and be completely inflation free. The incentive may help encourage nodes to stay honest. If a greedy attacker is able to assemble more CPU power than all the honest nodes, he or she would have to choose between using it to defraud people by stealing back his payments or using it to generate new coins. The greedy attacker ought to find it more profitable to play by the rules, such rule that favor him or her with more new coins than everyone else combined, rather than undermine the system and the validity of his own wealth. SEARCHCAST. Incentive is a key concept here, as it covers both cybersecurity, mathematical game theory, and we will actually have an entire podcast on the subject, as it is way too vast to mention it just in passing. As far as cybersec is concerned, or cybersecurity, we are from the school that one of the weakest links in any network administration system is often the human element, especially when that human element finds itself, let's say, in one, I would say, demotivated and unchallenged by its work. Hashtag boring. Number 2, I would say afraid or blocked by its work's perspective and opportunities. Number 3, if the human element is badly paid or overworked. Hashtag stressed out. 4, the human element is negligent and badly trained without regular cybersecurity or training, green IT, training, data protection skills, training, upgraded as a corporate or organizational policy. Regular training of staff is extremely important. You can check a website like cybersectc.com and check what I have to offer as far as cybersecurity training is concerned, for example. It's just an example. We're not endorsing them in any way, shape, or form. I'm just mentioning. All the causes explained above can damage the updates, upgrade, and overall care of the network. Bitcoin idealists, the maximalist crypto community, live by the code and changing the world. It is a powerful incentive to stay glued to a computer screen without flinching and stick to a bug-free ethos when considering the base layer of the crypto success story that is Bitcoin. First thing first, what we learn from
white paper, we can see that we're using capitalism as a line of cyber defense. Rewarding miners based on the amount of work provided for the network uses the powerful incentive of capitalism in its purest form to build a layer of security that will ensure that it is more profitable, even for a greedy attacker, to keep the system alive rather than steal everybody else's coins, as the value of the system keeps increasing because it is producing less and less coins over the years until 2140. Second lesson, social media cyber hornet as a line of offense and defense. And you can read the blog by HYPERSONIC's virtual incubator newsletter. I think it was published in September 13th, and posting of what they call the Satoshis manifesto and its 7 pillars. And there was also another blog post in August about how we can use and deploy cyber hornets in the case of the Polygon CRYPTO-HEIST that we will mention in this podcast. So keep listening, please. So, going back to the Satoshi manifesto and its 7 pillars. It was broken down by crypto analyst and big data expert Herman Jemisi himself via his LinkedIn profile. Maybe we should have a read through. What do you think? Let's go. The Satoshis manifesto as penned by the Ethereum electronic community, a manifesto for online-offline networks in the 21st century by people ready for the 21st century info wars. A manifesto also for people that are aware of the great dangers behind deployment of new technologies, devoid of any moral, religious, or philosophical code to ensure a human-centric and human-positive outcome to the new technology deployment. Technology in the 21st century should therefore strive to help, enhance, augment, grow the human experience on Earth and not the opposite. Deploying new technology in the 21st century and its ecosystem will require a big data management ecosystem to back up your activity in order to introduce artificial intelligence, optimize and rationalize your activity, often inside a coherent online metaverse. Deploying new technology in the 21st century and its ecosystem will require a big data management ecosystem to back up your activity in order to introduce artificial intelligence, for example, optimize and rationalize your activity, often inside a coherent online metaverse. We propose a human-centric P2P solution that will enable the safeguarding of your data and their validation, as well as a system that will empower, benefit, and enhance its users and online communities in the long run. The Satoshi white paper does outline that goal from the first forward of the paper. Remember, a pure P2P electronic cash system would allow online payment to be sent directly from one person to another without going through a single financial institution. Those were the forward of Satoshi Nakamoto. Now replace cash system by big data system, and instead of the words financial, you have healthcare, supply chain management, business, scientific unit, pandemic center, real estate, anything, legal, non-legal, whatever. Not for profit, for profit, doesn't matter. You can put anything in there. And we now hope that you can apply this data validation and security system to most big data management units or pipeline. The 21st century Bitcoin electronic community lives by the idea of keeping the core Bitcoin code simple, clean, and as bug-free as possible. The same open source and corporate online communities acting as code Jedis fix the 2010 bug, or indeed the 2013 bug, and even the 2018 glitch, and on and on and on and on. So, the Bitcoin core community have therefore kept those updates on the low as part of its dedication first to cybersecurity and the supreme elegance of the protocol. Therefore, extra slow and cautious work is done in order to achieve mass consensus for code updates, which are necessary for any data system in the 21st century. Satoshis, it is not a political or even a financial philosophy. It is a toolbox, an intellectual framework that is not machine-centric, but strive for the betterment of human online and offline communities. Satoshism is purely and simply the idea that when deploying a new technological ecosystem in the 21st century, you will ensure a minimum of the 7 following pillars. Number 1, the network will be decentralized. Number 2, the network will record transactions using the blockchain technology and its derivatives to come and to be invented. Number 3, the network will allow access to information in a transparent way. It can still add privacy features if necessary. Number 4, the network will be resilient to cyber attacks, and the protocol running through the network will be bug-free and elegant. Number 5, the network will avoid a single point of failures and will rely on rewarded or paid online mining communities to act also as transaction validator and second line of cyber defense. Number 6, the network will also rely on mining communities to validate transactions, of course, cyber hornets on the web, on social media to increase its resilience, data mining operation, and act as a second and third line of cyber defense too. Those people could be paid or not. Number 7, the network will strive to empower, grow, and augment its many online communities, leveraging, for example, open source programming for its updates. Those are the 7 pillars of the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper as per the protocol. We're looking, of course, at a decentralized and scalable network. We're looking, of course, at a blockchain technology deployment. We're looking, of course, at the empowerment of the people and its users. That's why decentralization is key, by the way, for that matter. We're looking at data management transparency, of course, empowerment again. We're looking at no single point of failure for the network. That's important for data validation. That's important for business. That's important for science. We're looking at network resilience and cybersecurity in the 21st century. That's important for everybody. Mass adoption of this technology in principle is, of course, a preferred outcome for Satoshism. Here we go. Those are the pillars of Satoshism in the 21st century. Hashtag Team ADMP.
So folks, today we have a great interview between Raoul Pal, a former CFI trader converted to a DeFi consultant on his own real YouTube channel, Real Vision Finance. He's interviewing, of course, Gary V, chairman of VaynerX and CEO of Vayner Media. Raoul Pal is, of course, a YouTuber now. Let's have a listen, please.
When you look back on the chart of the NASDAQ back in 2000, it's feel really dramatic. It now looks like a little small bump on the road. Came after it was in that.
And I think what keeps me calm at night, lets me put my head on my pillow, is there is no way NFTs, or if the, by the way, the word NFT could change. That's how.
Oh yeah.
You know, we called social media Web 2.0, right? We called the internet the information superhighway. Say go to http://www. Like, I don't care what you call it. I can tell you right now that in 2039, people will use digital assets the way they use physical assets to communicate to each other, and there's no doubt in my mind.
And assets will also be recorded on the blockchain as tokens as well. So we could all buy a property together in Manhattan that's a $50 million apartment and share it amongst 100 people. All of this changes dramatically.
Your point there was funny. Back to Aaron Battalion, his first point was leases, mortgages. Like when he was explaining the smart contract, it just blew my mind. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, yeah, I don't think we've even begun to innovate. How about this? How about if you're lucky enough today to sit with an incredibly unusual property? Let's just say you're an extremely wealthy person and you have just a very unique home. Well, I think you blockchain it, and when you sell it, you put in a royalty that says you make 2% on every transaction of this home in perpetuity.
One day you're great. Like I built my house here in Little Cayman. You know, maybe eventually.
Why wouldn't you? Like, I can tell you right now, if you decided to sell it, let's say we became friends over the next 15 years and I wanted to buy it for some reason, right? When you're like, hey, by the way, there's a 1% royalty in the contract, it's not going to matter to me. But I'll tell you who it's going to matter to, your great-great-great-great-grandchildren, when it changes hands for the 5th time and for some reason they get a $800,000 check in the mail or an $80,000 check in the mail, they're going to be awfully happy with great-great-great-great-great-daddy figuring out why he understood the blockchain.
The other thing I'm looking at is also IP rights. So let's say you're a pop star, you've just started your career, and to your community, you sell first year's IP rights. You share in them, and they pick the song that they think is going to be a hit. There's going to be millions of people on TikTok trying to explode the content, getting it everywhere, because that's their job. In that,
I couldn't agree more.
The community that supports your art will be able to support you. This is something that is actually already happening. If you look at people like the Chick and Logan Paul brothers, those YouTubers who literally decide with their community who should be the person they should fight next. And so they organized boxing bouts with former professional boxers usually, and now they're making more money than professional boxers because they're supported by a bigger community who actually is ready to put their literal skin in the game.
Early on, back in December, January, early on, 6 months ago, I was trying to explain it to friends. I was like, okay, I had one friend very into music. I said, you know how you find new bands and you love that and you take pride in it, and when they get big, you get upset and they've sold out? I go, you're not going to care. You're not going to be upset anymore. He goes, what do you mean? I go, let's play it out. Let's say Nirvana decided to give up 20% of their IP in NFT form to fund them so that they didn't have to sign a record deal. Let's say today that you were one of those earliest fans in the grunge movement in Seattle and you bought some tokens. Let's say today, every day you wake up and you look at your bank account and Spotify, because Teen Spirit is being streamed as many times as it is every day, and you own 0.3% of the royalty that they're getting, that would be the greatest revolution of people being able to support artists they love and actually make incredible economics for being right.
But also it makes culture an investment. And it's also because of the way...
By the way, let's stop there right now. I just want to make sure everybody who's listening, and obviously if you're listening, at least half of you, because I'm sure I'll bring plenty of people in this, you're incredibly handsome, smart host here, just said the only thing that actually matters. And it's the reason I'm so in. The only thing I've ever understood is the stuff that's unseen. The reason the black and white of finance world never clicked for me is because I was the best at gray, and I understood it so well that it just became my passion and my obsession. Our great host here says what he just said, and that's why I had to jump in. And there's a lot of ramifications about this, by the way. There's a whole counter to what we're about to say that will play out 20 years from now that will change the world in a way that you can't imagine. The purity of culture has been incredible because it wasn't economic between the end audience and the person. There was always something in between. But over the next 30 years, here's what will happen. First, in the first 10 to 15 years, is what we just talked about. Culture will become financialized. Value, community, brand. It will become more literal. The back half of that 30-year period, people will start to gain that, and the purity of it will actually have an issue. And that'll be very interesting to watch what that actually manifests. But let there be no confusion. That statement was the most important. As much as I've been yapping, the tokenization of culture is exactly right. It's the only thing I've been thinking about the whole time. And it's going to be a big fucking deal.
It's the biggest thing. I've looked at this whole crypto space. I've been in it since 2012, and I've been excited about the whole thing, and all of it is less exciting than this tokenization of culture, the kind of NFT plus community stuff that's coming, plus the metaverse, is like the biggest thing I've literally ever seen.
Tokens should always have a value. Maybe the value should be exactly what the podcaster is saying. It's the economy of the unseen. So therefore the value is downstream from the core values of an electronic and online community. So that's going to be really interesting to see how all of this is going to mesh and all of this is going to evolve and transform and impact each other. So it's going to be a lot of interaction, a lot of debate, and of course arguments, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be interesting for sure. We're going to see a huge amount of creativity from on the tech part, but also on the cultural part, because when those two mesh, techno-cultural industries tends to adopt also cultural artifacts that were not predictable in the first place. Interesting prospect, interesting story for the future. Watch this space. End of segue.
Alright. So if we pop the trunk on this blog post, which was published on my LinkedIn post, Herman Janisi and AA, that's the title now.
was the 600 million Poly network hack. Point number one, the Poly network heist was a CASA de crypto PAPEI style, or was it a CASA de crypto PAPEI style? That is the question we're asking. On the 10th of August 2021, fact-checking Poly network, the DeFi or decentralized finance platform, was hacked or data breach with over 600 million worth of crypto assets stolen. 600 million worth of crypto assets stolen. It is already one of the greatest heists of all time, whatever the currency or ecosystem. It is already one of the greatest heists of all time, whatever the currencies or ecosystem. Think about it. The crypto heist could be a result of a vulnerability between smart contract calls. I'm going to delve deeper into that. The malicious attackers managed to override permission from the bookkeepers. These bookkeepers were in charge of approving cross-chain transactions. Cross-chain transactions, of course, are transactions between two different blockchains. Monies in crypto assets across Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, and Polygon were damaged during the heist. It seems also that digital info social media tactics may have saved the day, and maybe the loot. There is a full Poly network data breach Twitter thread available with the show notes. Pay attention to that. Now, there is the Infowar Act 1, which is Poly network courageously publishes the detailed exploit of the hack and calls out the crypto community at large. The crypto big society is being called. The twist in the plot, as always in crypto, came when the crypto community prevented alleged hackers from spending the loot. Notably, Paolo Ardogno, CTO of Tether USDT stablecoin. Picture this. Paolo Ardogno, Tether CTO, Chief Technical Officer, and Organic Crypto Ally, blacklisted the hacker's address, thus freezing the USDT loot, and managed to recover $33 million as the attackers attempted to deposit the stolen funds into what is known as tumbled crypto finance. Thus, Poly network was clearly encircling the enemy. It's fantastic. Poly network was using or leveraging social media to encircle its enemy, and by doing so, recovering part of the loot already. That is called a line of defense in Infowar. That's a line of defense. Now, the Infowar Act 2 sees the courageous CTO tweeting and clapping back literally on the hacker's heist and explaining how, in the tweet of course, right? I mean, I'm just going to read it. At Tether.to just froze 33 million USDT on, and then he publishes the actual address of the potential hack. He publishes the address where the fund could have been originated from, or stolen from, or etc. So he publishes. So the Infowar Act 2 sees courageous CTO tweeting and literally clapping back on the hacker's heist. And I'm just going to read it actually. It's at Tether.to just froze $33 million USDT on, and then he publishes the whole address as part of the Poly network hack. So there you go. It's all in there. That's the Infowar Act 2. So now we move on to Income's Crypto Tumblr, the new Crypto Tumblr. Refer to the show notes for more explanation about what a Tumblr actually is. The hackers still found a crypto getaway and broke the crypto circle via a getaway in the digital shape of a curved pool where one can mix its crypto assets without intense KYC scrutiny. KYC is Know Your Customer, a set of banking and identification clearance and regulation that enables you to know exactly the exact identity of your client. Lo and behold, the malicious attacker proceeded by transferring the crypto back in the shape of USDC funds into Curve's stablecoin pool, also known as Curve Protocol, making a recovery of the loot almost impossible. Oh yeah, what the crypto hackers did is called tumbling or flipping your crypto assets to make them untrackable. Cue number 3, another twist in the plot, because a few hours following the attacks, the dudes started communicating online with crypto via written notes attached to transaction on the Ethereum network. The hackers simply shot out the idea of creating a new token and leaving the hodlers and cyber hornets from the crypto community to actually decide where the stolen money should go. Amazing. The alleged attackers were almost asking, if you want, the crypto community at large, the crypto big society or space, to agree on a consensus on the best outcome for the resolution of the saga of the crypto heist. An act that is still, as of today, last time we fact-checked it, a criminal act. Interesting. Now what we have with InfoWar Act 3, Act Chainlink.eth 2.0, retweeting now the alleged hackers' message to the space, the crypto community, the crypto big society at large. And if I read the tweet, I'm just going to read the tweet. My guy, just stop and turn yourself in already. Okay? And then you have the actual tweet as printed on the Ethereum network. And it says exactly this. What if I make a new token and let the DAO decide where the token go? The DAO being, of course, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, aka, at first you could say, the miners, which will be the second line of defense. The first line of defense being, of course, the network. The second line of defense being the miners. The third line of defense now being the cyber hornets and the crypto space and the crypto big society at large. Alright, that's it. 3 line of defense there. Obviously, the dudes had skills in creativity, or I guess. And before starting to return the funds, the surrendering hackers created a new token called the Hacker is Ready to Surrender and sent it to Poly Network's wallets. Like that, he sent out a new token to the Poly Network's wallet, saying that he was ready to surrender. The hackers, or the alleged hackers, then started transferring a mix of tumbled up crypto assets over several transactions, showing also the ability to avoid, if you want, third line of defense. Right? They already had flipped Shiba Inu tokens from India. They had flipped other stablecoin on Ethereum like USDC, USDT, BUSD, and ultimately the entire 600 million loot altogether, turning it into a seamless Casa del PAPEI money heist on Netflix episode. I mean, it was ridiculous. The money was back. All the money. I repeat again. All the money was paid back. All the money was paid back.
Just airdropping me.
On the 23rd of August 2021, and the alleged hackers' decision to return the funds, literally all the money was paid back. You couldn't believe it. On the 23rd of August 2021, the alleged hackers' decision to return the funds may also be down to the blockchain security firm Slow missed identifying key information about the hackers, such as an email address and some IP information. Whilst funds used to conduct the data breach were traced back to the Who Exchange, a world's leading blockchain asset service platform, according to their website based in Hong Kong. What? Then this happened. There was a picture on the right showing the actual message by the alleged hack. And according to the CoinMarketCap website, the hackers finally issued long notes along with the final private key on the Ethereum network, quoting some sort of happy ending. I mean, I can read it loud, fast, but my action will determine since I made the final decision
which was to make it perfect and to be the eternal, including publishing the final key today. However, one thing is missing during all of the negotiation. My request, which was also the only reason for slow refund, was to unlock the USDT in my selfish view. The story stated by the lot USDT, it would have been a perfect example of building trust between anonymous adversaries by leveraging the power of smart contract. If we had any chance to deal with the USDT in a not centralized way, potentially a Satoshist, potentially a Satoshist. Okay, let's carry on. It was just my preference of solving the USDT issue, and it might never happen due to the unsynchronized communication. It's fair enough to just leave USDT here as a sign of untrust. We don't have to worry about the imperfection because the community, the media, the crowd, the big society, and you and me can't wait for the final key, right? It's a question. Here's the key for us. And now he actually publishes the final key. So the alleged hackers could be a hacker or some electronics crusader for decentralization. A decentralization electronic crusader. That would be his job title. No. Alright, that's interesting. Anyway, of course, Poly Network replied to that tweet by tweeting back, clapping back if you want. The hacker, thank you. We're ready for a new journey. Poly Network team HTTPS and then publishing address, Twitter address, and then at Poly Network to August 23rd, 2021. To finish, as a result of the greatest crypto heist of all time, the alleged hackers also got a ton of message of support online from the same crypto community or big society, from crypto bros and sisters like, I'm going to read one of the message. Anything would help. Love, a fan wrote under the profile handle, poor mate, on the comment section of the blockchain data site Ether Scam. Another message.
I already live in a shitty country, so life is hard. Another user wrote, will you help a brother out?
Another message read, hey, why don't you be a modern Robin Hood and airdrop it to everyone here?
Just airdrop it, mate. Just airdrop it, mate.
Another request. An airdrop, of course, is a mass distribution of free tokens.
Just airdrop it, mate.
The alleged hackers were offered a huge bug bounty of $500,000 for finding the alleged bug onto the Polygon network. The money was offered by Polygon, of course.
Just airdrop it, mate.
The alleged hackers may have landed a job also as cybersecurity support team for Poly Network, if we believe the tweet from the Poly Network corporate handle. Are you like us, feeling awkwardly guffawed or bamboozled or even led astray by the whole saga?
Just airdrop it, mate.
Yes. It's probably just another crazy day in the crypto space, isn't it? It's just another crazy day in the crypto space. Oh yes, it is.
Just airdrop it, mate.
Next episode, season 2, episode 2, we will see reclaiming disk space as far as the Satoshi white paper is concerned, as per the protocol, and we will look at mining pool, and also an idea that we had looking at the Bitcoin global network, which is in its majority made of a network of a computer, and the next level will be, of course, to set up a network of crypto data centers. That's the idea. Here we go, a podcast produced by ADMP Podcasting Network, hosted by Powermaker Herman Genesi, founder of ADMP Virtual Incubator for Startup and Blockchain Technology. Hashtag ADMP. You can check us on admpawards.biz, that's our website, admpawards.biz, of course. Don't forget our sister podcast, the Blockdown Podcast, hashtag BDB, where you have your favorites bilingual podmaker Herman Genesi and Dr. Wonkin interviewing crypto actors, of course.
You can find us on Podcast Addicts, Podchaser, on Deezer, of course, on YouTube, and on Facebook. We have a group, which is facebook.com/groups/Panda Media MP. I'm going to spell it PANMEDIASMP. Don't forget, of course, our newsletter, admpincubator.substack.com, and we have also a Discord, #MelBaron, okay, and you can get us on discord.gg/C6H9JGHQ. You can find us on Telegram, right, t-channels.me/ADMP Awards. Well, alright, sorry for that. And of course on Medium @ADMP Awards, and we have an email address which is teamadmp@gmail.com or newsletter@admp@gmail.com. Stay resilient, have a nice day, have a nice week, and have a nice year. Satoshi's Corner, Season 2, Episode 1, mic drop.
My name is Herman Joyce.
Because cryptocurrency was designed by Satoshi.
My name is Herman Joyce, social media, blockchain, and big data consultant.
The political motive is to bring the power back to the people who use currency as a means of payment.
This podcast is a bite-sized summary of a potential conversation
To communicate to each other, and there's no doubt in my mind.
And physical assets will also be recorded on the blockchain as tokens as well. So,
of a potential conversation with Satoshi Nakamoto, seminal white paper, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The goal of this podcast is to establish the many sources and resources.
The tokenization of culture is exactly right. It's the only thing I've been thinking about the whole time, and it's going to be a big fucking deal.
The goal of this podcast is to establish the many sources and resources necessary to create, deploy, and optimize blockchain technology ecosystem in order to establish a Bitcoin or blockchain standard for businesses and organizations in the 21st century.